We're back. So we've gotten a few questions from our followers of Instagram when we posted about our program. Here are the questions for both of you. So the first one is nutrition based. A lot of people have a fruit fear. They say that fruit and fruit juices are apparently too high in sugar. So should they be avoiding it? What are your tips?
So for fruit, I would suggest that if they were having fruit, have it in the morning only. And if they have issues with glucose and blood glucose levels and blood sugar irregulation, I would opt for low glycemic fruits like berries, kiwis, papaya, those sort of fruits that have less sugar than having bananas and things like that, and make sure to balance it with protein and fats. That's probably the best way to consume fruit. And if you feel like you are quite nutrient deficient, having a juice in the morning is not a bad thing, but having a green juice is probably the best way to consume fruit. Like green apples, cucumber, which is a vegetable, but still balancing it is the best way.
Great advice. The next question is for Chandani. Are yoga and Pilates the same thing? What is the difference between them?
Okay, I get this question a lot. No, they are not the same thing at all. Yoga and Pilates sometimes look similar in terms of movement and what you see online, but the concept of each is very different from one another. Yoga is more of an inner journey. It's more about mindfulness and tuning inwards, listening to your body. It's kind of like a whole experience, whereas Pilates is specifically to work on your core muscles, to improve your posture, to basically strengthen your body and use slight resistance training to do that. It's very low impact exercise. So there's no jumping around. There's no high intensity work. It's low intensity. It's really good for you. It's really good for rehab. A lot of people who have back problems or have scoliosis or things like that, they are usually recommended Pilates by their physiotherapist because it's really good to help you in correcting your posture and also strengthening your core muscles, which is really good in the long run as well. So very different from one another, but both very good for you.
Thank you. Back to Aisha. We've heard that eating multiple times a day helps your metabolism rate increase. So is that true? Is that something everyone should be following?
So if you're the type of person, again, who has energy dips, low energy levels, feels fatigued, yes, snacking through the day is not a bad thing. But if you have issues with digestion and gut-related issues, then snacking isn't ideal because you're constantly working your digestive system constantly. So you don't want to do that. So it all depends on what condition you're trying to deal with.
Okay, that's interesting. Next one is for Chandani. So some people think that yoga and meditation is quite boring and they can't really slow down. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Yoga is boring. Yoga is too slow for me. Meditation is boring. I don't know if I can do it. I think you just need to think about the reason why it's so hard to slow down. Most likely your body is in a state of stress or your nervous system is just dysregulated and you need to kind of find some regulation. So sometimes when you're always like living in overdrive and you're working constantly and you're doing workouts and moving, and especially if you're like, someone who tries to balance everything, going out, finding time for yourself to like do things that you enjoy as well, and you don't really take time for yourself to slow down and take moments of like stillness, it makes you uncomfortable when you actually try to do that. So as boring as it may seem initially, I think just try to think about why you can't slow down. What is so hard about it? Why are you pushing it away? Yeah, I think it's just looking at the bigger picture for sure.
That's so true. The road to inner peace is really to slow down. All right, back to Aisha. So with protein, a lot of people feel that when they work out, you really have to overload on protein, or even with weight loss, you really want to cut down all the carbs and just eat protein. Is that something that's good for you? What would you say? Do we need a more balanced meal? What is your advice?
So I suggest to my clients that they should have in every meal protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. That's a completely balanced meal. Now, people who are vegan, vegetarian, they have to substitute more on plant sources like beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, things like that. So having the right balance in one plate is the best way moving forward, but not to overdo it either. But it all depends as well on your amino acid needs. Now, are you the type of person who works out? What exercise do you do? So that's all quite dependent. But for a man, they need more protein as compared to a woman. But I would suggest that it depends on your lifestyle, and that's how you would understand how much protein you would need in your diet.
Basically, sign up for the program and find out. Back to Chandni. What would you say about using Pilates and yoga for weight loss?
First, I would just like to start off with yoga is not a workout, because a lot of people, I think, get really, well, I'd say influenced by Instagram, and you see people doing handstands and splits, and obviously most of those people are yoga teachers who are really, well, fit. And you kind of just feel like, okay, doing yoga is going to make me fit. Doing yoga is going to make me be able to do handstands or get into inversions or complicated poses, advanced poses. But that's not exactly what it is. Yoga, like I mentioned earlier, is a more spiritual journey. It's a journey inwards. It's about taking a look at your mental health as well. It just kind of encompasses everything. It's about meditation, breath work, slowing down. It's not so much about losing weight or burning calories. But I would say that in order to really take the next step in your weight loss journey, you really have to look at your body as a whole and just think of what's best for your health. Nutrition plays a huge part in that, for sure. I would say look at your nutrition first, and then also incorporate movement into your routine. Movement that's going to help you. Also focus on yoga and Pilates to reduce your stress levels, to make sure that you're healthy overall, and Pilates to build muscle, building your core strength. I think if you focus on all different aspects of that, that will help you in your weight loss journey. But I think trying to focus on one thing for weight loss, like yoga or Pilates, is just looking at it in the wrong way. I think you really need to look at your body as a whole and just seeing what's best for you overall, because everything will help you in your weight loss journey.
Amazing. And the last question is for Aisha. So a lot of people suffer from iron and vitamin D deficiencies, and we need to know that what supplements should we take, what level is considered low, why do we all have it?
So with iron and vitamin D, so starting with vitamin D, the reason a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D, if you're Asian or that sort of ethnicity, you are quite known to be deficient in vitamin D. Now, the way vitamin D works is people just think they can go to the supermarket or the pharmacy, the chemist, and buy, vitamin D tablets. But the way it works is if you overdose too much on vitamin D, that can be toxic. So the way it works is you should get your blood test done every 6 months, see where your level is at. And if your level is obviously low, you work out your body weight. And every 25 kg of body weight is 1,000 IU of vitamin D. So you supplement accordingly. You do that for 6 weeks, and then you go down to maintenance dosage. But again, every person will be different depending on levels. With iron, we need to look at your ferritin levels, see how much iron you're storing, and from that point, that's the way you can figure out how much iron you need to supplement with. And you can either get it through animal sources, or you can go down the route of a supplement if needed.
Great, amazing. And the last question we have is the program available worldwide? And I can answer this one. Yes, it is. It's available to everyone. We have online classes for yoga and sound healing, and Aisha will do online consultations for you as well. Thank you.